Alright, it's no secret, Sonic Unleashed Recompiled is the thing, and many fans are now talking about it, so let me add on to it. And also, I kind of thought about it for a bit. Is this a good game to recommend to the casual crowd? Sonic fans know about this, and that's why we're talking about it again, but what about the casual crowd? So, let me add on to the discussion. I mentioned it a lot in the Sonic Colors Ultimate video, so let's look at Sonic Unleashed. I'll be using the recompiled version because it is just the original version with some extra bells and whistles, so here we go. Eggman has his fleet ready to conquer the world. Sonic arrives and starts taking out Eggman's forces. Sonic and Eggman start throwing down, and as Sonic gets captured by Eggman, he transforms into Super Sonic. Eggman flees and Super Sonic starts destroying all of Eggman's ship. Eggman gets cornered and starts apologizing, saying he will give up and make amends. Sonic teases the Doctor but gets captured in a contraption. The machine extracts the Chaos Emeralds out of Super Sonic and launches a beam towards the planet. The beam causes the planet to split up into 7 pieces. While the planet splits up, a mysterious being comes out of the planet's core. At the same time, Sonic starts to transform into the Werehog with the Chaos Emeralds drained of their power. Eggman is ecstatic, and just before Sonic deals with him, he gets sucked into space and falls back to the planet. The mysterious figure then also collapses and splits up into a dark energy. As Sonic falls to the planet, he is saved by a random energy. He still falls, and as he gets up, he sees a small creature on the ground. He picks the thing up and asks if he's alright. The thing freaks out over Sonic's appearance, but they introduce themselves, and the guy realizes he has no idea who he is. Sonic kind of feels responsible because he thinks he fell on the dude, so Sonic teams up with the guy to help him out, and as the sun rises, he transforms back to normal. As they explore the town, Sonic names him Chip because he busted over chocolate chip ice cream, and hey, I understand, a good meal can make you bust a nut. Like, forget a relationship. You guys ever bite into a meal and it gives you that orgasmic feeling? You just like, yeah, it's great. As night falls, Sonic transforms back into the Werehog. He discovers he has stretchy arms and then goes through town defeating monsters. After defeating the monsters, Sonic meets up with Tails. Tails lets Sonic know that the situation happening with the planet could probably be explained by Professor Pickle, who is over at Spagonia University. The gang heads over but discovers Eggman kidnapped him. The group head to rescue him from Eggman's base in Missouri, and as they find the professor, he thanks them for the rescue but asks the group to get some documents in Eggman's safe. Tails grabs it and they head back to Spagonia. Professor Pickle then exposition dump. Documents we stole back are the Gaia manuscripts. They explain that this isn't the first time the planet broke apart. This happens every few millions of years. In order to fix the planet, Sonic needs to take the Chaos Emeralds to these Gaia temples to restore the planet. They return to Missouri where they rescue the professor. Why? Well, there's a temple there. Eggman tried beating them to the temple. After defeating the Mad Doctor, Sonic and Chip discover the Gaia temple and head inside. Sonic and Chip are in amazement looking around, and Chip's necklace activates the temple pedestal, and after placing the Chaos Emerald in the pedestal, one of the pieces of the planet gets restored along with the Chaos Emerald. Tails pulls up and lets them know that the planet is healing and being restored, and that they are going to have to see the world in search of these Gaia temples. They return back to Spagonia where Amy encounters Sonic in his Werehog form, but she ends up thinking it's someone else and apologizes. Sonic actually gets upset over it, and Chip tries to reassure his friend, but Sonic is upset. They go to the professor's lab and Tails hands them a flash camera. As they head back to town, villagers are being weird and not being themselves. They're dancing in the middle of the streets, with one of them forcing Amy to join in. Chip takes the camera and takes a picture where Gaia creatures then pop out of the people. Sonic defeats them, rescuing Amy, and stretches away. The professor then tells Amy that was Sonic. Jumping to Eggman, he builds a device to reunite Dark Gaia and to use Dark Gaia for his power. Sonic and Chip continue exploring the world and restoring parts of the planet, reaching Atabat's temple. Chip tells Sonic he is scared, which confuses Sonic because it's just another temple. They've been in a bunch of these already. As they enter, Sonic restores the emerald, but Chip sees a mural, and after touching it, Chip gets all of his memories back. Turns out, Chip is actually Light Gaia, the opposite of Dark Gaia. Chip explains that for millions of years, Dark Gaia would wake up to destroy the world. Chip would put him to sleep and restore the planet, thus continuing this cycle. Chip did it again for years and years. He thanked Sonic for showing him the world. He never knew food was so good or people are so nice, and thanks to Sonic, he got to see the world he was protecting. Sonic transforms to the werehog and tells Chip he is sure that Chip is the reason why he never changed. When the townspeople were possessed by the Gaia energy, they would change and be the opposite of who they are. Sonic, while would change appearance, was still himself. Chip tells Sonic, nope, that it was all him. Chip begins to tell his friend that Sonic is too strong-willed to lose himself. He doesn't give up and is always willing to help. That it is Sonic's character. That is the reason why he never changed. Had nothing to do with Chip, it was Sonic himself. Chip then begins to say his goodbye to Sonic, with Sonic telling him where the hell is he going, that even if it's Chip's responsibility, he still wants to help out his friend. The gang hop on the tornado and head to the location of the last temple to find Eggman Land. The doctor built his amusement park of hell on top of it. Once they reach the temple and placing the emerald, the planet begins to return back to normal, but as they leave, Eggman comes in with a new robot powered by Dark Gaia, the Egg Dragoon. I know I'm getting old, but to the children watching this, no, we aren't gooning. That's the name of his robot. Stop saying, oh, Eggman goons. He might, but that's not important. After fighting it, Dark Gaia is released, launching Eggman into orbit and draining the Gaia energy out of Sonic, removing the werehog and leaving him exhausted. Chip then summons the temples to form a Megazord to fight Dark Gaia. After a fight and transformation to perfect Dark Gaia, Sonic uses the emeralds to transform into Super Sonic. After facing the monster, Sonic defeats it, but is exhausted. Chip catches the blue blur and tells him goodbye, and he is meant to keep living on the planet. He throws Sonic back to the planet. Sonic falls, just like in the beginning of the game, finds Chip's bracelet, with Chip thanking him and saying he won't forget his friend, ending the story of Sonic Unleashed. Wow. For a Sonic game, this is close to perfection. Sonic's characterization here is perfect. Confident and adventurous, but still kind and helpful. Sonic actually gets upset with not just being referred to as a monster. He kind of brushes it off, but he really gets upset when Amy, of all people, doesn't recognize him. That's awesome. That free as the wind spirit is well and alive. But he has moments of him not being perfect. He has points where even he's like, damn, that's great. Not just that, Chip is written as the comic relief in this game, but he isn't just that. He has very deep moments with Sonic, and when he learns of his duty, actually contributes. Hell, even with his lost memories, he still was contributing, but he knows what he's there for. He appreciates life. Thanks Sonic for showing him the world. Hell, you can give him food and he will talk to Sonic about it. Really kind of cementing they are traveling the world together. The pictures at the end of the credits do help with that too. Man, this was a wonderful story. A good balance of lighthearted, action-packed moments, but still deep and meaningful storytelling that actually is handled well. The jokes are there either in the background or not the sole focus. You know, when they are discussing real, hard-hitting stuff, the jokes disappear or are so subtle that they don't take you out of it, or can even be endearing because it's mostly in the background now. When I have talked about Sonic stories, I usually always mention Unleashed and Black Knight as some of the best because they characterize Sonic perfectly, and the voice acting performances here are perfect. The writing plays a huge role in it, and here it is written wonderfully. There are plot issues like how in the world did Sonic get corrupted by the Gaia energy being in space? Doesn't make sense, but the overall tone and story writing is near perfection, which enhances the performances. Jason Griffith and the gang did amazing. This is probably the best performance they did in the series, along with Black Knight. The story is great here, and I would love to see stuff closer to this. Maybe not exact, but similar style, you know, with the perfect balance. But that's enough of the story. Alright, let's look at the gameplay. Sonic Unleashed has two major gameplay focuses, Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Werehog. Daytime Sonic is Boost Sonic, the first 3D game with the boost formula. Sonic has his typical moves, but the Stomp, Wall Jump, Air Dash, and Lightspeed Dash are obtained later. But from the start, Sonic can Boost, Homing Attack, Slide, and Quick Step. It is kind of weird that you can't do some of these moves right away, but it's not bad. It doesn't really do anything. But man, this is such a fast-paced Sonic. One of my favorite things about unleashed is actually how fast Sonic feels in this. The level design has alternate routes, and different ones will either have faster areas or collectibles. These paths can also give you new areas to explore, but also be the path that is faster, fitting in with the design of the speed. Again, Sonic is so fast in this game. It is the reason why these are some of my favorite stages in the franchise. The amount of speed Sonic can reach is exhilarating, but it's not just brain dead. Obstacles are in your way, whether it's enemies wanting to hit you, bikes or pits wanting to kill you, or a wall that literally just prevents you from going fast. Never in my life could I think something as a wall would make me so mad that I lost my speed. Same with people. I don't know why. Sonic doesn't plow through them. I guess he's respectful in that way. It's fun. Trick ramps to reach high areas, swinging poles. Everything in here is pretty great. These boost stages are some of the best and are so fun to play. While the boost formula does feel great here, there are some issues with it. Frankly, Sonic when moving slow feels like a tank. Usually that rarely happens, except for when collecting medals. But when slowing down and needing to make precise movements, it feels terrible, honestly. It's a struggle to even do. Mind you, this has stayed true since Generations and wasn't really fixed until, you could argue, Frontiers. But since the level design isn't centered on that, it's a minor complaint of the boost formula that honestly has continued, so it's kind of a minor thing, really, for Unleashed. But now, let's take a look at the Werehog. Damn, okay. When the sun goes down, Sonic transforms into the Werehog, a stronger, slower version of Sonic with fangs, stretchy arms, and cleats, all ready for the night patrol. Night stages are very platform, puzzle, and combat based, so these stages are much more centered on those aspects, and this is not as fun. Especially in the early game, both night and day aspects of Sonic can be leveled up. While Sonic can level up his ring energy to boost for longer, and speed, which doesn't really mean much, the Werehog can level up several different aspects. Combos, life, strength, unleashed, and shield, meaning the Werehog not only takes way more to max out, but his gameplay is also dramatically different because of it. The Werehog has abilities like the shield to protect from attacks, which you rarely do. The unleashed meter, which makes him faster, stronger, and slightly invincible, can help with fighting, but that's it. Like, it's okay, like fine, I guess. When fighting enemies, Sonic has a straight punch and a curved strike. Hitting different button combinations is what can have him bust out certain moves. Now this can be pretty fun, but since you don't have a lot of these combos in the beginning, and if you don't level it up, it gets very boring and repetitive. Since the combos at the start are very basic, it isn't until later in the game as you level up the Werehog where you start to have fun. But then you have another problem: pacing. While the combos can be fun if you like it, pacing as a whole in the game is awful. Sticking to the Werehog, his levels are so long. My god, combined with the combo issues, the Werehog levels are so up there. I mentioned the puzzles, but to be honest, it's mostly bringing this thing to the altar to open the door. That's it. Maybe move a box. So it's mainly platforming and combat, which isn't too bad, but when the game slows down to a halt and you go from yeah oh my gosh, look how fast I'm going. Yeah, like, come on. That is so upsetting because while the day stages are paced well and are so fast and exhilarating, the Werehog in comparison is so slow and takes forever. It kills the pacing so much, especially getting S ranks where you're just doing the critical attack. It's repetitive. What is this? Not just that, but it isn't like Generations where you go from classic to modern. It's more day level, night level, night level, day level, day level, night level, followed by 2 night levels, meaning that sometimes as you play, especially because of Werehog levels, you are already anticipating not to have that exhilarating speed, and if you don't like it, well, too bad. To get to Atabat Day, have to play night first. Empire City, where dreams are made of, good luck. Gonna have to deal with that night level again. Same with Spagonia. It kills the pacing because instead of being excited, I kind of dread it. God, I'm making the Werehog sound awful. But you want to know something? When you don't look for medals and you just play the Werehog levels to get to the goal, hey, this is actually kind of fun. Levels don't last as long. Speedrunning tricks can encourage you to try things out. This is where you can see there is some real enjoyment here in the Werehog, especially when you do different combos once unlocking them. The problem is, who is going to go back to do all of this? Nobody, unless genuine curiosity or to finish the chili dog missions. Maybe get S ranks. You won't see this aspect of the Werehog. Like, the general audience knows Nobody's going back to see that. You will just see the long levels and repetitive nature of it. So as cool as it can be, no one will really experience that. What doesn't help either is the sun and moon medals. These things were the worst thing they could have added into Unleash. You need 120 sun and moon medals to play the final stage in the game. But you know what sucks? Is finding these things. In the Werehog levels, that's actually where most people will find them. But if you look for them in the day levels, it isn't designed for this kind of speed in mind. Just look how bad it kills the pacing. Here is a side-by-side comparison. Just look at that. Look at how much it kills it. I go from traveling at Sonic speed to slowing down, walking somewhere, and possibly finding one. Or going so out of my way just to get a medal? Ugh, I don't know why these were added. They are easier to find at night and the hub worlds, but these kill the pacing, and until Halaska, you don't need any, so some players may have to go back just to reach the medal quota. Want to know why I didn't struggle? Because I remembered the locations of them for the most part. But the fact that in order to improve pacing, I had to remember the location of these things, that's ridiculous. And sad, because the game as a whole could have been amazing. There is a lot here that we have not seen in other Sonic games. Town people here have stories to tell. You can help them out, like celebrating a mother's birthday, helping a girl get over her shyness to help her mom, performing exorcisms, helping a businessman see what really matters in life. Helping others, you know, that's what matters. Having a clearly gay man teach you about love. Hell yeah, Sonic fucks with the gays. Let's go. Hell yeah. Like, when was the last time we saw something like that? Sonic Adventure? SA2 didn't have people telling stories. And 06? No. These townspeople can also give you different stages from the missions they give you. They're remixed versions of the original acts, which can add more playtime. It also gives you different versions of these levels. Chili dog missions can let you replay the levels with certain conditions. They also just give you chili dogs that can help level up Sonic. Certain countries also have Act 2s and 3s for their areas, adding to the playtime, and then you just have the amount of detail that went into these things. Every country has its distinct environment and people being based on real life locations. The food and souvenirs are very specific to their regions, and the aesthetics and graphics are gorgeous. Oh my god, when was the last time a Sonic game had this gorgeous graphics? It's amazing. The lighting is phenomenal. This was the best way to show off the Hedgehog engine. It is stellar, and that's the main appeal. This game genuinely feels like they put so much love and care into it. The production value here hasn't matched. We have gotten close with maybe Shadow Generations, but when was the last time we had a game with this much production value? We haven't really. The CGI opening is a testament to that. So this is where Unleashed can be very enjoyable. The amount of love and care placed into that. The country's graphic story and levels are phenomenal, but the execution is what leaves me wishing for better. Levels are paced badly while the design is amazing. Even in the Werehog levels, there are a lot of fun ideas there. The fact that a Werehog level is an average of 12 minutes to a day level which averages 3 to 4 is a problem. And even tiny things too can hinder the enjoyment. The tornado sections are boring. The bosses, they're okay. And Eggman Land is arguably one of the worst stages in Sonic history, averaging 30 minutes on a good run and longer for first timers. What the hell is that? Sonic Unleashed is a well thought out game that does have high production values with love and care put in, that fumbles the execution of major mechanics, that ultimately kills pacing and enjoyment. Once I beat the game, pretty much only played day levels. The music is absolutely phenomenal, fitting with the style of the region that it is in. But want another reason why they fumble the execution? When you fight enemies in the night levels, you hear the battle music, which isn't bad, but there is only one, and it's only one song you will hear for the entirety of the game. And even if just a small guy, one small guy, doesn't matter how big he is, just one small little dude starts the battle theme. So enjoy that, have fun with that. Yeah. Would I recommend this game to Sonic fans? Yeah. Go see the start of the boost and what some of the best Sonic writing can bring to the table. Go see the production values. Go listen to the music, which are usually always bangers. Like, there is a lot here that can be enjoyable. But to the general audiences, no, don't. While it has good production value and ideas, this isn't the best Sonic game. The medal hunting kills pacing and will prevent casual players from getting very far. The Werehog dramatically hurts the enjoyment for being so dramatically different and longer than boost levels levels. There's also just a problem with the boost as a whole for general audiences. Being this fast is gonna be very hard for people not accustomed to that speed. Also, if you play on original hardware, man, this game chugged. The frame rate, especially in certain levels, looked like a PowerPoint presentation because of how intense the graphics were. It wasn't until recompiled and the Xbox Series X where we finally got a stable frame rate. Like, that alone shows that this game had great ideas, great ambition, but bad execution. If you do play this game, play it on the recompiled version. Not only does it give the best graphic settings and mods, but you can turn off the battle theme, which automatically makes it the best version. But unless you are a hardcore fan, you guys honestly should skip this one. I like it. As a fan, I have some love towards this game because of its production values and it having one of the best stories, and overall it does have fun things in the game as a whole. But no, for general audiences, there's a lot of problems here that hinder the enjoyment, and I'd rather you guys play Sonic Generations or even Sonic Colors for a boost style game. It's a shame, but that's the reality of it. But I would love to see another Sonic game with this much production value and maybe similar townspeople with stories to tell, or even seeing these countries coming back outside of Generations. I don't know. I think it could be a good idea. Like open zone with Empire City? That'd be amazing. I would love that. I would love to see Empyreans walking around doing stuff. But yeah, this is a game casual audiences should skip, but Sonic fans, give it a shot on recompiled. With all that said, you guys have a good one and take care.